Hey, Kate. I noticed immediately that it's so much more inviting. And you know what? Just for giggles and grins, I went back and I looked at the last submission. You should do it. It's intense how much this has improved. It really is. I should have left it open. Darn it. Um, Boy, I wonder if I can. What's that? No, that's this one. I'm not. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's your work, so it's pretty intense to look at these side by side. I loved it. So love where it's going. Really do. I hope you're pleased because your attention to the grid is just much more obvious. I think you're starting to understand page construction and page mechanics, and that is really a pleasure to watch. Okay, this couple of things I want to mention here. Now, let's take a look at the work itself, the page itself. Now, I think it's a really good practice to back off like this on a piece because if you do this, it's like I often recommend students to do this. I say all the time, roll back on your chair in your studio and take a look at your work. And this is kind of accomplishes the exact same thing. What do you see? And what are the first things that you see? Kate, first thing I see is this right here, this big blue block. Next thing I see is this image, and then I see these stripes. So those are the areas that I would question. I would question those because they seem to be like that. What is that thing? Where's Waldo? Or not where's Waldo, but what doesn't belong? Okay, and let me explain a little bit further what I mean. You've got enough natural breaks in this page that I think that it was such a good idea to go from a two column, stretch and span into two column to go to single column because it just adds this cadence that's really super interesting. As such, I don't think you need as many visual breaks as you're offering. Okay, let's take a look at this page. You've got basically, if we count this as a visual break, the headline, then what you're doing in essence here is you're calling out here. So this is in essence a call out, and the way you've treated it is also forcing the viewer to stop, to slow down, and to spend a second in there. Okay, then you have a few lines of text, then you have another visual break. Then back to back, you have another visual break, then back to text. Okay, and we can see that pattern a couple of times. Here for sure, here's a pull quote, then you have this visual break, then another one immediately. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? So think about that. Think about that. Think about that. The pull quote, boy, I don't know. I mean, you're placing it in an area. Yeah, I think the pull quote is too narrow. I think what you can do with this pull quote is try to span and make it more of a visual break within the paragraph than placing it in a position that's a visual break anyways, and that's at the end of the paragraph. These pull quotes, that's what they're for. They're just, all they're doing is giving the mind basically a visual break, a resting point, an island to rest on while swimming through the text. Okay, so you really want to place them in an area that needs them, and I think that if we, and I love looking at it at this level, whatever this 50.6% is, where I'm zoomed at, because it's really showing, it's beautifully showing what I've been trying to say, and I didn't mean that like trying to say, what I've been trying to exemplify through the last couple of weeks. Okay, let's take a look at some alignment stuff here. Okay, I know this is funny because Acrobat acts really funny like this, but let's take a look at this, and I'm going to have to do this to draw a guide because, like I said, Acrobat is funny. Let me see if I can do this. All right, here's where your type starts, and then if we continue that, here's where your type starts. So you see that page isn't in alignment. The type isn't, and that's why I think that that's a risk of putting a color background behind the type, is because you're going to throw off the alignment somewhere, And that's exactly where. Now, it may be the next page, but trust me that psychologically and subconsciously, it affects the viewer big time. Again, here, this is placed in an area where you don't need it. And that's the top of a, now, this is basically a resting place anyways. And then this is the bottom. So you're placing resting places in two areas where there are natural resting places. I saw a couple of alignment issues. Where were they? Oh, this page. Okay, so this page, I think that you can crop this guy enough. It's, I mean, there's enough information here that we don't need the whole image. I think you crop that as such that it will fit here so that you don't have to break the grid on this right column, which you're doing because this intersects, as we can see, if I draw a guide, see how the top of that image intersects that type just kind of in the middle of nowhere. And it really, again, subconsciously, that is a really stressful thing to see. Let me pull that guide away. And so I'm suggesting that you pull that down in accordance with the rest of your page. There's nothing new here, just sticking to the grid, that's all, and making that new column, the same. Make these two columns equal is all I'm saying. One thing else was I thinking here before. Oh, this was it. Okay, let me back off here just a bit. And I'm wondering what this is. I mean, you've got your call out. I mean, your pull quotes. That's great. That's fine. Let's say that's one style. Then you have this call out here. Okay, and then you have a completely different style here. And then you have, I think, another one basically back to the first. Well, no, it is. That's the same as this one. Although the type is different, isn't it? Yes, it is. The type is different. So again, there's 3 call outs, 3 different treatments. So think about consistency there. Okay, that's all I have. I'm just so pleased. I hope you are too. You didn't say. I mean, you said you're looking forward, but I'm really wondering what you're thinking. Kate, are you happy? Let me know. I am. I love it so far. Really, really impressive improvements from last week. Good job. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.